worst to interview. I'm so sorry. This is why I was like,
All right. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. We have teacher Natalie here, and you might already know her because she is actually a famous VIPKID teacher. You're famous. And she's a legitimate princess, and she just started her own ESL company. So like, she is super amazing. I'm so glad she's here. So a little bit about Natalie, because she doesn't like talking about herself. She actually right now is getting her master's at Harvard for continuing education in creative writing and literature. She has been a princess performer in LA. She's currently in Medellin, Colombia, where she started her own company, and you're still teaching for VIPKID, right? Yeah. But now she's built her own private ESL company. What am I missing? Did I miss anything else in the intro?
No, you got it. You fluffed it up. You're good.
So can you just tell me a little bit about Do It for the Kiddos?
Yeah. So I wasn't really sure that I would actually ever come up with my own company. My brother kind of, told me, eventually one day you're going to have to build your own business. And I guess that kind of just subconsciously stayed in my head. Do It for the Kiddos was born because three main reasons. The first was, although I love VIPKID and it's like the best thing ever, I could not handle the work hours anymore. Just teaching children in China, those work hours were really, aging me. I used to work 9 to 12 hours a day. Sometimes
I'm going to put up a picture of her schedule. It's insane. I used to look at it and gasp. So.
I look at it now and I'm like, I don't know how I did that, but I don't ever want to do that again. Yeah. So, and then of course, I feel like everyone's goal may be that you want to work less and get paid more, right? So that we have extra time to either grow our business or just to do things like travel or spend time with family and friends. And then the other main reason was because, like you said, I'm in Medellin, Colombia. So I have a lot of family here. And the reason I moved here was to spend time with family. But when I moved here, I had just started VIPKID. And I'm that person that if I'm going to start and do something, like I am going all in, like all out. So I spent every waking day prepping, teaching. I slept like 4 hours a day. And so I never really actually got to spend time with my family as I originally wanted to.
So you were teaching a lot for VIPKID. And at what moment did you say, like, I can't do this anymore and I need to start building something of my own?
Yes. So actually it kind of really triggered when OutSchool started to become a thing, which is recent, very recent. And so everyone was kind of jumping on that bandwagon. And so because the American hours are so tempting, right? You don't have to work at 3 a.m. You could work at 3 p.m. and it's totally chill. So I needed that. I really got to a point where I was physically not able to wake up early anymore and do long hours like that. So I thought, okay, maybe I could just do like 2 hours a week with VIPKID and then start OutSchool. I actually went through the whole application process. I applied to OutSchool, and during my application, it kind of clicked because I was like, oh, like I can kind of just do this myself. Right. Yeah. I was just like, and I have experience, like my background, I created my own modeling agency for myself. I was like my agent, I booked clients, I did my receipts, I did my marketing, everything. So it's kind of like a little ding moment where I was like, okay, if I did that, all that work for something that I enjoyed but wasn't my passion, right? Imagine what I could do if I took those tools and that experience with something that I am extremely passionate about, and I see it being my forever job, my crinkly old queen. Like I can't be a princess anymore, but I'll be queen. Okay.
Fairy godmother.
Yes. Yeah. The bookings slowly start to decrease, but that's okay. So really the only difference was between them managing me and me managing me is that they get 20%, which I still 20 think or 30? OutSchool. Is it 30 now?
I think it's 30.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, shoot. I think it's more than that. So, yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, nothing against OutSchool, though. I think it's an incredible program. It's really inspired a lot of teachers to think outside of the box. You can teach whatever you want. But when I realized that, I was like, wait, so I could just do the same thing, but but just kind of work extra hard in that hustle of getting your own clients, knowing that there's less of a chance of you getting booked. You have this high competition, and then you just have your little brand down here that you're creating from the bottom. But I thought, okay, well, this is the time to do it. If I'm going to create my own business, it's going to have to be now, because if I jump on the bandwagon without school and then grow my brand and my image there, then with American students, then I won't be able to take those students from them. So then when I start from the bottom, I will have to start again from the bottom. So I was like, okay, it's now or never.
Yeah. And something that a couple teachers asked me to ask you on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram or Teacher Natalie, I'll put our little handles here. But I'm going to be interviewing entrepreneur teachers. I'm going to try for every week. So if you ever have suggestions or recommendations or questions for those teachers, then you can let me know on that Instagram page, specifically for teachers. But anyway, some teachers asked me questions about how you have started to market your classes, right? Because I think what's appealing for people that are afraid to start out on their own is, okay, well, how do I market myself, right? Without school, you've got a huge pool of students that can kind of sift through, right? Going out on your own, what have you done to market yourself, and what have you found that works the best?
Honestly, I just picked a social media platform that I am strongest at, because I honestly I'm not good at YouTube. So I applaud you for that. But I definitely am more familiar with the algorithm on Instagram. So I just took advantage of that. I researched, what kinds of hashtags to use. I compared other ESL companies like VIPKID, OutSchool, and just kind of worked my way around that. So really, it's just a lot of research, just in Google, how to market yourself. Honestly, things like that. It's just really putting in the time and just kind of opening your heart to the idea of, like, I may spend a lot of time on this and I may get one booking. I may get 0 bookings. But in the end, it's just practice. And thankfully, I did already have some teachers that had showed interest in booking me before I even came up with my company, that had reached out to me independently. So I did have a little bit of that, like, hope and support from the community, to whereas, like, if I made something, I know at least like I'd get like 1 or 2. But either way, yeah, it's really the hashtags, I would say.
Cool. And well, I feel like 2 things that you really touched on. One is having one platform. I think when you start a company and you're starting a brand, that is something that I've been working with some clients now and building their own companies. And that's the one thing I always say is just, you have to pick one in the beginning, because, and for me, that's YouTube, right? I like Instagram, but I don't actually like it. I'm not addicted, I'm just scrolling through. I'm like, how many hours have passed? Okay. But for YouTube, I feel like I like being able to teach things, stuff. So that was the one platform I picked, but that's so huge, and just picking one and learning as much as you can about it and building your brand. So I think that is huge for sure. And then another thing is that you are just so authentically you. And I think that helps too when you go off on your own, is really you took all the aspects of your passions and your personality and you put it together to make this amazing and unique company that people love. I've never seen anyone else before start Princess Academy or the Plushy Pal. Like, that's just so incredible. But you took these things that you were good at and you combine it to be just so authentic to you and is so helpful to others at the same time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you made a really good point there. It's like, honestly, if you have an idea and you have a passion and you are confident, you do have to have some confidence. I'm not saying that you have to be 100% confident, because I don't think anyone is, right? You just have to, and then also have some plan Bs. Like, I'm the type of person that has like plan A, B, C, D, right? So it's like, it's not like I quit VIPKID or any other ESL company I'm working for and then just did my own thing. You kind of have to slowly take off a few hours of the other job to dedicate to your new business. It's a very slow transition, and you have to really accept from the beginning that it's going to be a long process. So it's a lot of it, I think it's a lot of emotional preparation, because the hardest part is just staying, like, just positive about the growth of the business,
because it will go like this, right?
Yes.
Do you think
forever.
Do you think the hardest part is deciding to do it? Do you think that's the hardest part? Or what do you think the hardest part is when starting your own company?
I honestly feel like that is typically the hardest part, but my friend, actually my best friend Stacy, hi girl, she
Hey Stacy.
she she always is like, Natalie, how do you just do something? Like you just think of something and you just do it. And I think that just ties back to your personality. So for some people, the hardest part may be just starting it, right? Because I have a lot of friends who have all these great ideas and I'm like, do it, like do it, like go, like right now, go do it. You know, they're just like, oh, I don't know, what if I fail? And I think that's really the thing, like, who cares? I'm sorry, like if you fail, like that just meant it wasn't for you. I am a really firm believer in like, no one could take away what's meant for you. If it is your destiny, if it is what you want, and it is what you really truly believe you deserve, make it happen. And if you do everything you're in your power and it doesn't happen, that just means that it's opening another door, you know, because like I never thought I'd be a teacher. Like if you saw my journey, if you'd been following my entire journey, I jumped from like model, actor, princess, advertising job, 9 to 5, to like back to model to teacher. I'm like, how did I, what? You know, so it's like, just follow the path. I'm a yes man. You know, if something feels right, I just do it, because my fear is not failing. My fear is never trying, because I cannot stand the not knowing, or, you know, you think of a great idea and then 2 months later, someone else is already doing it. And you're like, that was my idea.
Yeah.
So that's really my biggest tip, is that if you feel in your gut that you can do something, you have the confidence, you have the tools, it's a good time in your life to do it right now. Like, for example, I don't got babies, I'm not married, you know, so if I'm going to like really make this my baby, it's now. Yeah. So timing has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah. And you know, for the confidence part, I'm a firm believer that you just got to fake it till you make it. So even if you don't have the confidence, just pretend you do, because then it'll come. Even if you don't have the tools, Google's free. And that's how everybody first starts off with learning. And even if you tell yourself it's not the right time, guess what? It's never going to be the right time. You know, there's certain times are, you know, okay, well, I've got this project, and once I finish, there's that. But like, if the time is just your excuse, it's always going to be your excuse, you know? So you just got to take that leap, because it's better than regretting.
Exactly. There's never going to be a perfect time. That's not real. But there are some times in your life where you feel overwhelmed, that you can't devote to it. But if you're just like, well, you know, like I have a class like 5 to 6, and then I kind of like to take naps on Wednesdays, and you know, like that's an excuse. But yeah.
Another question that some teachers have for you is, how do you make your lesson plans for Do It for the Kiddos Academy?
That's kind of the funny part, is I just kind of made it. I guess just from like previous experience, previous knowledge, like I was really worried about copyright issues. And I know a lot of like out-school teachers were worried about using certain books or certain things through Zoom that was like legal and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, well, the only way that I don't have to stress about that is if I just completely create it on my own. So I just use Google Slides. I picked a free background, and I just kind of thought, okay, well, what inspired the Intro to English and Intro to Spanish courses, which is really the one that has more like a rigid curriculum, is that I noticed when I was teaching my VIPKID students that they could say and repeat sentences, or they could read certain words, but when you'd break up the alphabet, they wouldn't be able to recognize which letter is which, or the sound of it. And or when they would sing the ABCs, they just kind of say A, B, C, D. And I'm like, wait, how are you reading, but you don't know the alphabet? So it's kind of like a back to basics kind of moment. So I really just broke it up into, I wanted it to be like a 2-month thing, you know, like start. And then after that, build on the curriculum. But really, I just started it with 8 lessons, which is the alphabet broken down as the main thing that you learn. And then each lesson has like 2 sentence patterns that I just probably just recalled from VIPKID, or just like, you know, just basic things. Like I just thought, okay, what does a baby need to know? or a fresh learner, what are the things they say? They say, look, or they say, I see, or they say, my name is. So I just kind of use personal experience, just brainstorming kind of thing. And then I also just like to be very creative with my own curriculum. So I just, I picked a theme. I have a boys theme and a girls theme. I found royalty-free images. And really, I've always been like a very OCD organized person. So I kind of just used all of those tools and then just created something.
Do you use Canva at all?
Yes, I love Canva.
Canva's the best. If you're a teacher, you need to use Canva because it's amazing.
You have to.
Do you use Canva Pro or the free version?
I don't. I have the free version. Is there a big difference?
Pro version. Oh, yes. You just have you can just use so much more stuff on it. It's
so intimidating.
It's not. No, it's not. I promise. The the pro version has so many little extra things that are really helpful, and you can download things that are transparent background. That's
I love those things. Yes.
So for your Plushy Pals Storytime, then you said how did you find those books that you can read without infringing on copyright?
Oh, yeah. So since I ended up not writing my own things, I Googled like free teacher resources, and a lot of things actually surprisingly popped up. So if you're looking for free stuff, just Google. It's like the best thing ever. And books is a new thing that came out. And so I guess for promo or just because of the COVID and everything, they're giving and offering teachers a free subscription for a year.
Wow.
So teachers, yes.
Get on that. Or link it below.
Get on that.
I need to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, and they have these beautiful animated stories with a lot of messages, kind of like what I was aiming for. So it's kind of like a sign, like a relief, because I was like, okay, I was about to try to do all this on top of everything else. So I'm glad that it just like fell into my lap right when I needed it.
Yeah.
And so that worked out perfectly. I actually had the amazing opportunity to teach some students in Indonesia called EduKita. And it's an Indonesian company. It's based in Indonesia, and they're trying to start a company similar to VIPKID, but for Indonesian children. The good thing about the plushies was that I was able to warm up to the students, because if they didn't want to read, because the hope is that they want to participate and read a line, I would say, okay, maybe you don't want to read. Does your fox want to read? Or, and they'll kind of be like, oh, well, maybe, or because the screen on Zoom, they were like 15 students, and I've never taught a group that large before. So a way to engage them while I was waiting for them to answer a poll or a multiple choice question, I would say like, oh, I see Susie has a cat. I have a cat too. And I'd like show my cat, or, so it's just a good way to break the ice and really make it like lighthearted, a fun reading and learning environment without the stress of just the teacher and the student, because then they're just sitting there waiting to mess up, or they're just, thinking that the worst, so it's just really nice to have that comfort. And I've noticed a huge improvement with all my students with that, the younger students, of course.
So cute. Yes, I would like to take one of your classes. Do you teach adults?
Oh, girl, yes.
I've got a plushie. I always think that when I'm teaching a Go-Go class, I'm like, I want to be learning Chinese like this. Like, I don't want to take a boring class. I want to take the same thing, and I'll put the little things. I don't call me crazy, but it sounds way more fun.
Agreed. Don't put an age on it.
Right. I feel like you're actually Belle right now, because I hear birds chirping, so you're actually a princess.
Oh, yes. They just follow me everywhere.
Have you ever seen that movie Enchanted with Amy?
Yes.
And she's in New York City, and she goes, and then all of a sudden it's like cockroaches and pigeons
and these rats. It's like, we don't discriminate these animals, okay?
Yes.
I love that movie. I wish I auditioned for that, low-key.
I think that you are that movie. Yeah. You
would
be perfect.
Movie.
Yes. To sort of wrap things up, I know we already talked a bit about this and touched on starting a company, but what would be your advice to someone that is wanting to branch out and start their own ESL company like you have?
Yes. So I guess just kind of my biggest thing is just don't be afraid. I know it's so easy, or it just sounds so like cheesy, but you know, it is good to have a support system. I am thankful that I have, like, you know, my immediate family and my best friend that, you know, we're kind of like, if you fail, like, I'll catch you, you know, kind of thing. We're just encouraging you. So maybe if you really need that support and you don't have it at home, wherever, maybe you could research some Facebook groups. The VIPKID Instagram community is like a whole nother family to me that really helped encourage and push me to do it. Do your research. Like, although you should do things from the heart, you should also kind of be smart about it. You know, really try to plan out your day and see, okay, with my current schedule, how much time can I invest every day to this new business? Because the biggest thing is sometimes people really don't feel like they have the time. But if you sit and you look at your schedule and you think, okay, how much time do I spend on Instagram that I probably don't need to? I could use those few hours to dedicate to my marketing or researching this. Take courses, whatever you feel that will give you more confidence to be like, yeah, okay, I can do this thing. Just do it. Don't worry about, you know, investing money that you may not earn back. Don't worry about spending time and, you know, missing out on some parties because of this. Like, I think that you will lose more sleep and more time thinking about what would have happened if I tried, you know. So just, that's really the biggest takeaway. The resources are out there for you, and don't worry about competition because you are your own unique self. Like, I know everyone hears that on social media and it sounds like, you know, redundant, but it's true. It's true. No one can take away you. So even if someone else were to do Plushy Pals, which I don't recommend because I'm going to trademark that. No, I'm kidding. But if someone else, it would be totally different because you are what makes it different. So yeah.
I definitely think too, there's always room at the table. Yeah. Especially in the teaching community, because there's all different types of students out there that, you know, some personalities, they would never take a class with you. They would be like, I'm scared.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, where is the tomboy teacher that teaches me about Dungeons and Dragons? That's where I'm at. You know, like there's room, whatever you can find niches, and there's room literally for everybody. And that is so true. The online ESL teacher community is so supportive, but just not the Facebook group. Avoid. Instagram, awesome. Avoid Facebook at all costs. Yeah.
We'll have to put like a little Facebook sticker.
Don't do it. I don't know. It's like the worst trolls. But anyway.
I don't know what's gonna happen, right? Like, but in an ideal perfect world, I always like to think big. You know, if I don't reach it, that's fine. But at least have that. It kind of gives you that like motivation to just keep going because it has that end goal. Even if you don't reach it, it's like, it's a dream. You gotta go for it. So I'm hoping to eventually, I think it would be awesome to like hire other princess teachers. So they're actually certified teachers that have some kind of look. Like, you could totally be one of the blonde chicks because I can't. Yes, I could see it. Yeah. So it's like, you know, something like that. And then also some males too, because the princes could teach some prince classes. So it's like, I just like these ideas because they could really just go anywhere. And every day I think of new things, and I'm sure I'll be making more courses. It's not just going to be princess or Spanish or any of those things. It's just a matter of, you know, it's time because I have to create the curriculum. I want it to be good too. I don't want to just serve you, you know, leftovers. I want it to be gourmet. So yes.
Well, I'm so excited, and yes, think big because it's gonna happen. If you can see it, it's happening. It's happening.
Oh, girl.
I can see it. So. All right. Well, thank you so much. And be sure to follow Natalie on her Instagram page. She also has a Facebook page, but you're more active on the Instagram, right?
Yeah.
But you do post on the YouTube too. And I will be interviewing teachers now. I'm going to try on a weekly basis. For next week, I'm actually going to be interviewing Lisa Markle Sparkles. She has an amazing Etsy and Teachers Pay Teachers store. And I think like I think it was her who told me that she was like, she could just do that full time now. I'm pretty sure she's built it.
Wow, really, that's amazing.
She does like digital designs and things, so really cool. So that'll be this coming week. So I'm really excited for that. But anyway, hope everybody has an awesome day, and be sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time.
I forgot what I was saying now. What were you talking about?
Oh.
I'm the worst to interview. I'm so sorry. This is why I was like,